Hello everyone, I am Neeraja Prakash. You are watching Neeraja's Biology Academy. In this session, I would like to discuss the NEET 2020 paper, especially ambiguous questions, which made the students to use their cognitive skills extensively. Now let us discuss. 2020 NEET paper reflects the speed, accuracy and also conceptual clarity. All the questions are picked right from NCERT. Let us see what are all the questions, in which way they appeared. Easy level 27, medium 37, difficult level 20, controversy and ambiguous questions 6. Some dividing cells exit the cell cycle and enter vegetative inactive phase. This is called quiescent stage or G0 phase. This process occurs at the end of G1 phase, S phase, G2 phase and M phase. If we observe these two diagrams, it is a diagram related to old NCERT version and it is related to new NCERT version. With respect to this diagram, G0 phase will come after M phase. With respect to this, G0 phase will come at the G1 phase. So the answer might be 1 or 4. Let us wait for the LTA key. The phases of the cell cycle, if you observe the concept related to this, some cells in the adult animals do not appear to exhibit division, especially cardiac myocytes. Whereas some cells, they enter into a quiescent phase and many other cells divide only occasionally as needed to replace that have been lost during injury or cell death. These cells that do not undergo further exit G1 phase to enter an inactive stage called quiescent stage, G0 phase of the cell cycle. So according to this, the answer is G1 phase. Here is a question which is related to 2019. Cell in G0 phase exit the cell cycle, enter the cell cycle, suspended the cell cycle, terminate the cell cycle. So answer is suspended the cell cycle. Identify the wrong statement with regard to restriction enzymes. They cut the strand of DNA at palindromic sites. They are useful in genetic engineering. Sticky ends can be joined by using DNA ligases. Each restriction enzyme functions by inspecting the length of the DNA sequence. They have asked us the question, wrong statement with regard to restriction enzymes. These three are the statements related to restriction enzymes. And this is a statement which is related to ligases. Restriction enzymes are known as molecular scissors. They cut the DNA at palindromic sequences. It may cut at the center or a little away from the palindromic sequence. They are useful in genetic engineering. It's also a correct statement. Each restriction enzyme functions by inspecting the length of a DNA sequence. All these are NCERT lines, but here this is the statement not related to restriction enzymes. They have asked us to pick out the wrong statement related to restriction enzyme. So what is the exact answer? We cannot. Each restriction endonuclease functions by inspecting the length of the DNA sequence. Yeah, it's the correct statement. Restriction enzymes cut the strand of DNA a little away from the center of palindromic sites. And the next statement is sticky ends. You can join together by using DNA ligases. So let us wait and see for LTA key. If we take this into the consideration, then they cut the strand of DNA at palindromic sites. Here, restriction enzyme cut the strand of DNA at a little away from the center of the palindromic sites. Which of the following pairs is of unicellular algae? Gelidium and Gracilaria. These are rhodophysian members which are multicellular in nature. Anabaena and Volvox. Anabaena, it is a blue-green algae. Volvox, it is an alga which is a colonial form. Chlorella and Spirulina. These are the unicellular algae. Laminaria and Sargassum, which are Phaeophysian members. These two are given as unicellular algae in old NCERT version. But in the new version, only Chlorella is mentioned. Anyhow, students, they pick this option as the Chlorella is a unicellular alga. Match the following columns and select the correct option. With respect to column 1, eosinophils, basophils, neutrophils and lymphocytes. These are different types of WBCs. And they have given the functions of these cells in column 2. Eosinophils. We know very well eosinophils are the cells which are responsible for removal of antigen-antibody complexes, removal of blood clots, and also their count is increased during helminth infection. Such type of options are not here. Let us go for the next options. Basophils. These are the cells which are responsible for release of histamine. Histamine is responsible for inflammatory actions. So for this, option is 4. Neutrophils, which are considered as microscopic policemen, and they play an important role in phagocytosis. Lymphocytes. Two different types of lymphocytes are there, B and T lymphocytes, which are responsible for exhibiting humoral as well as cell-mediated immune responses. So for this, the option is this. And then finally, the leftover option is this. Release of histaminase and destructive enzymes is the function of eosinophils. Basophils or mast cells are involved in the release of histamine. Histamine, it causes inflammatory action. This inflammatory action does not prolong for a longer period of time. It is mainly due to the enzyme histaminase which is produced by eosinophils. It suppresses the activity of histamine. That's the function of histaminase. Eosinophils are also involved in the release of destructive enzymes. So they are responsible for release of leukotrienes, which are responsible for removal of pathogens. Now let us see a little bit related to the destructive enzymes. Eosinophils are defined as multifunctional cells that have long been related to allergy and also host parasite responses. They are with arsenal of enzymes. They are immunomodulatory cells that contribute both in innate and adaptive immune responses via selective secretion of different types of cytokines and other mediator substances. Eosinophils are responsible for synthesis of cysteine leukotrienes, which play an important role in inflammatory actions. It might be chronic or acute allergic actions. Human eosinophils synthesize and store eosinophil peroxidase, eosinophil cationic protein known as ECP, EDN, eosinophil derived neurotoxin. So, several enzymes are associated with the eosinophils. They act in PMD manner. Placement, degranulation is associated with the eosinophils. No need to go all those things, but simply I have given maximum mechanism is associated with the functional aspects of eosinophils at different stages of immune actions. Which of the following statements are true for phylum Chordata? In Urochordata, notochord extends from head to tail and it is present throughout their life. Urochordata organisms during The larval stage, they possess tail which is associated with notochord and nouchord. These larval forms, they undergo retrogressive metamorphosis and develops into an adult. During retrogressive metamorphosis, tail, notochord and nerve cord are lost. So here this is the statement which is wrong because head and tail are present throughout the life. So this is the wrong statement. In vertebrata, notochord is present during embryonic period only. Let us see the statement later. Central nervous system is dorsal and hollow. It's correct. Chordata is divided into three subphyla: hemichordata, tunicata and cephalochordata. Hemichordata organism belongs to non-chordate group. Vertebrata, tunicata and cephalochordata organisms are included under chordata. So here it's a wrong statement. It is also a wrong statement. In vertebrata, notochord is present during the embryonic period only. There is an exception where chondrichthyes organisms are with persistent notochord. So students struggle with respect to this particular statement. Anyhow, they dropped correct answer because these two are exactly wrong and they went for this option. So notochord is persistent throughout the life in case of chondrichthyes organisms. Which of the following hormone levels will cause release of ovum, that is ovulation, from the Graafian follicle? High concentration of progesterone, low concentration of LH, low concentration of FSH, high concentration of estrogen. So here we know very well that LH is responsible for ovulation, but that option is not here. This is a question purely based on the diagram. Let us see the underlying concept with respect to this. FSH hormone is responsible for development of ovarian follicles. When these follicles are at tertiary and Graafian follicular stage, takeoff from these follicles releases estrogen hormone. Rise in the levels of estrogen, it shows positive feedback mechanism and cause the rise in the levels of LH, which leads to ovulation. So here rise in the levels of estrogen is responsible for ovulation. So this is the NCERT statement: rapid secretion of LH leading to its maximum level during the mid-cycle called LH surge induces the rupture of Graafian follicle and thereby release of ovum or ovulation. Here in NCERT they have given LH surge, but it is linked to the estrogen hormone. Same type of question appeared in 2015 re-AIPMT. Here options they have changed slightly. Which of the following events is not associated with ovulation in human female? LH surge. Here it is not associated. LH surge, decrease in estradiol, full development of Graafian follicle, release of secondary oocyte. Not associated. So ovulation requires all these events. So decrease in estradiol is the answer for this question. If we come to underlying mechanism, hypothalamus, it releases two different types of hormones: gonadotropin releasing hormone and also gonadotropin inhibiting hormones, that acts on adenohypophysis and favors the release of FSH hormone. FSH is responsible for development of primordial follicle, secondary follicle, tertiary and Graafian follicles. The theca associated with the tertiary and Graafian follicle is responsible for release of estrogen. That shows its influence on adenohypophysis. Consequently, rise in the levels of LH hormone is observed. It causes ovulation. And if you come to the granulosa cells, they release inhibin hormone, which is not there in CRT, but we got this, so that's what I want to tell. As this question came in 2015, now it appeared. So let us expect next year a question which is linked to this. So it prevents the release of FSH hormone. As a result, the remaining follicles which are present in the ovary will not undergo development. So let us see positive feedback mechanism here. Raising the levels of estrogen leads to the increase in the levels of LH hormone and leads to ovulation. If you like my video, please do like, share and subscribe to Neeraja's Biology Academy. Don't forget to click the bell icon for subsequent updates. Thank you.